Brakti Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Brakti Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Brakti Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. A lot more police stations in the UK are closing. The police are being defunded. And I've also read an article yesterday, but unfortunately I can't find it, uh, which is weird. Okay, where Chicago is defunding the police, and a lot of the stores are being closed in the majority of the Jake areas. Okay, and a lot of these hit and runs where Jakes are running into stores and um, bum rushing it and sort of like taking what they want and running out. I believe have been orchestrated. They're doing that over here as well because a lot of these so-called YouTube influencers, remember the keyword is influencers, all right, have a following and they can, you know, people like Aiden Ross, the Mo, and other, even though he's a heathen, but there's Jakes that do that as well, that use the influence to make certain things happen. Okay, ultimately, see how Bashim Shai controlling both sides, the right and the left. Okay, so these stores are not being manned. I've also watched a video the other day of a cheesesteak place in Philadelphia where a lot of the police aren't really doing their job because of the sort of same scenario. And the restaurant is owned by two Jakes, and they've employed a security guard with a AR-15, I believe, some kind of automatic weapon. They only got one guard there, okay, to keep the people protected. So these are the times that we're living in, where police are being defunded. Uh, a lot of there's no phone boxes anymore for somebody that does need the police, especially the older generation that don't have mobile phones. Okay, public amenities are being closed, so people are pissing and shitting in the street. Okay, so it's like a lawless, well, it was never civilized in the first place, but even more uncivilized now. Okay, and this is happening on both sides of the pond in the UK as well as America. We've already had our emergency alert, which I believe happened April 2023 this year. I'm not too sure of another one happening on the same day as America, because America is due to have on either the 4th or the 5th of October. Okay, and if it's the 5th, that's all right. Comes in. I don't know. It sort of reminds you of the movie The Fifth Wave. Okay, or DEFCON 5 or whatever. Um, so there's a lot of things that are happening. Okay, and some other good news as well. Barclays Bank announces plans to shut thousands of Britain's bank accounts. Okay, these are people that are sort of like expatriates or expatriates where they live abroad, and a lot of people are moving abroad. Okay, um, especially in this day and age, if you can work remotely, a lot of organizations are preferring, especially if you're an office-based person, or even if you do a physical job, but you don't really need to be in a premises. You can work from home and go to wherever your locations are, whether you're a security, whether you work in an office sort of based environment. People are sort of like companies are sort of saving money on paying lease or rent on office blocks or places like that, so people can just work from home. They'd rather just go the route of people working remotely. So people are moving abroad as well, and people just are trying to escape what's to come. People are trying to escape what's to come. You know, um, yeah, people are trying to escape what's to come, and along with that, a lot of Barclays banks, along with shutting thousands of Britain's bank accounts that are expatriates, there's a lot of Barclays banks. Physical locations that are closing, as well as other branches, Halifax and your Santanders and your Lloyd's building societies, which I believe most of these banks are internationally based. They're not just UK or European based. Okay, and then you got one second, where's you got Target to close 9 stores, including the New York City location as well, citing theft and employee safety. So there's a lot going on. So a lot of the stores are closing. A lot of banks are closing. A lot of situations of the grinding ceasing, work ceasing, people on depressants, antidepressants. People are watching YouTube videos of the 90s and the 80s. They're reminiscing how the New York used to be. If you should just read the comments. Watch anything where they've got like high definition footage of New York, California, Hollywood in the 50s. They show Christmas sort of situations, like Christmas parades and all that shit. You know, in New York or London or different parts of where Esau's strongholds are. People are so reminiscent, saying, "Oh, I wish I had a time machine to go back." So people are really, you know, wanting to go back into that sort of world, but they can't. Okay, and even the genetically modified generation, the new generation or Generation Z want to go back. You know, because I remember being a young man in the 90s. That was the 90s was probably the last decade that was so called fun. Because we didn't know anything back then. The era was different. Okay, the era was very different. There was a different, more vibrancy in the air. You know, there was a lot more romance between the men and the women. You know, that cliche shit. Roses for your woman and all that kind of stuff. Buying her chocolates, and sometimes if you're a blessed brother, your woman will be buying you lots of gifts too. It was just a different era, especially if you were a young man in your late teens, early 20s in 97, 98. It was a different world back then. Okay. I mean, it wasn't even that long ago, just 25 years ago. Right. So a lot of people are trying to sort of like self medicate and trying to take themselves to a time which was a lot more fun. Okay. Um, 1 minute. Scripture comes to mind. I'm just going to find it 1 second. Times of. Um, um, there's a scripture about during the times of grief. Don't remember joy, something like that. Let's see if I can find it, Lord. Let's just use this one. This one's pretty decent. James 4 and 9. So this is what's happening to Esau right now. James 4 and 9. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. And isn't that happening right now? With a lot of these Edomites moaning and crying and bitching that they took the juicy juice. Something's happening to them. They're having them 1 cent burgers. They can't move their necks. Even I think it was a Northern Kingdom woman that had a tilapia, right? And fish, which is fish. And all her four of her limbs had to be cut off, you know? So there's a lot of death, a lot of mourning, a lot of people disappearing. There's so many things happening. Like I even just check this out, right? Okay, more than 1,000 kids reported missing more than 1,000 kids reported missing in Ohio this year. In extraordinary surge, more than 1,000 kids reported missing in Ohio this year in extraordinary surge. Okay, okay, she looks like Jake. More than likely, most of them probably Israelites. Okay, because Esau knows who's who. All right. Esau be needing that adrenochrome. Esau be needing, uh, them limbs to make sell on the black market. Esau's needing, for certain elite, so-called elite families, needing heart transplants, kidneys, bone marrow, melanin, all sorts of things from the superior Israelite body to sustain themselves. You know, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just Ohio. This is happening worldwide. Wherever Jake is at, wherever Jake children are at, it's happening. Okay, they might show the odd child on a milk carton or maybe on a newspaper article here and there, thinking that it's not like a massive situation, but it's happening. And it's happening on a very large scale, a very, very large scale. Okay? But they brush it under the rug. All right? The same way Esau is a pedo by nature, a Mo by nature, a sodomite by nature, evil by nature, a child molester by nature, right? But who do they make the face of? They make R. Kelly. Who R. Kelly was basically just dealing with a woman or a girl that was 16 years old, which in biblical terms is lawful, but obviously in this world you can't. All right. But all these Edomites, okay, now the face of it. Uh, for example, those Edomites, I'm not going to mention their names, called Pedo Island. The Edomite and his woman, where all these elite, so-called elites, and these Hollywood stars and musicians go there to this island to mess with little children. They're not getting done. Some of them are even like being let out of prison for day release. Right? The Edomite, so-called the Caucasian. Yeah, that's even if they went to prison in the first place. But they make the face of all this, uh, you know, so-called grape and things like that. They make Bill Cosby and R. Kelly the face of it. But no one's talking about the Edomites, these crackers that do filthy things. You know, and this was another one. I'll quote this video today. Right, visiting the most drug-addicted city in America. This was probably yesterday, right? It's called what was that place again? What was the area? It was that's San Francisco, California. It was a city called what was it? And this fentanyl stuff, right, was created by Edomites in the 50s, all right, as a painkiller, as an alternative to morphine. So basically, the so-called white man, the Edomite, is at the forefront of all these things, all right. But now China's making the fentanyl now as well, and all these morphine tablets, all right. And which area was this? It was a university. Omaha, that's it. Omaha was ranked as the worst city for drug use throughout the US. And every single drug dealer they showed was an Edomite. They only showed one Jake, all right? But I believe that Jake was just put in there as an actor because they had him masked up. The rest of the people that have been deleted are Edomites. And most of the people being interviewed and the parents being interviewed are Edomites, okay? So this is an Edomite problem, okay? So you got Esau, right? That, you know, that set Jake up, right, for selling drugs, not giving jobs. Uh, like her son died of an oxycodone overdose. He was 18 years old, and boo-hoo, he had some stress because of his exam results. He had to, mess around with drugs. Okay. Um, they set Jake up on that by not giving jobs, putting drugs, guns, hand grenades in every Jake neighborhood. Even now, they're chucking mosquitoes and all these flies and all these bugs and things like that in cockroaches in every neighborhood by design to destroy Jake. Because ultimately, they want to destroy Jake. So Jake just gets destroys themselves. From the inside out, right? And now, when Jake is somewhat coming out of it and most of these hoods are being gentrified, Esau's being caught out. Okay, I watched a video the other day in Chicago where these two Jakes chased down an Edomite, beat the shit out of him. They were stomping his head and face and everything and took his rucksack and ran off. And I thought, damn, man, Jake is finally actually getting the real enemy now. Esau was screaming and crying, and so So basically, now these curses are coming on our enemies, man. Obviously, Deuteronomy 30, verse 7, these curses will come on a heavy basis once the kingdom is established on planet Earth, right? But this is like it's trickling down on them now, you know? Now before, they were saying, oh, pull your socks up, pull your socks up by your bootstraps, and all that kind of thing. But now it's coming on them. Now, when we say the same thing to them, oh, we need. Then they're gonna say, oh yeah, these white children, these so-called white children need help. Oh, they're going through stress and anxiety. They need help. But what about all the Israelites, all the so-called blacks and Hispanics, okay, and all the Jakes that are scattered across the four corners of the earth that were going through it? Huh? You locked them up. Some of them you made shit up about them and locked them up for life. Some of them you gunned down in the street. Now it's coming on you. Now we're supposed to feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you, devils, not one bit. Okay? Sometimes a demon jumps on you because we're so merciful that, oh yeah, I kind of feel, you want to feel sorry for him. I just say, forget that. You know? Look at that, as an Edomite dealer there. Look at that, Deuteronomy 30, verse 7. And the Lord thy power, Yahweh Hashem Yashai, will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. So it's basically just like a massive pressure cooker that's going to blow up. No jobs, companies closing, banks closing, people losing their accounts because they're abroad. That means they're going to lose money as well, right? The police being defunded, right? People taking more and more drugs. People worry about their finances. People taking the juicy juice during the 3-year period, during the the C-19, right? People not having jobs. What do you think that's going to lead to? People bum rushing each other's houses, taking what they want. It's going to be reminiscent of movies like The Road, The Book of Eli, for example. Ecclesiastes 12:4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, lack of jobs, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Not a lot of people are playing music. And also the quality of music is completely trash. A lot of even a lot of the movies, even a lot of the animation movies have old school hip hop, old school music. I wouldn't say old school. I should say a better quality of music. They're not using none of the trash right now. All this what you call hip hop. All that trashy shit. Nobody wants to listen to that shit. And then you got Esau coming against himself. Even a lot of our elders and prophets have brought out that you got so-called white women, Edomite women, saying that the problem of this world is a so-called white man. Yeah, of course. They control everything. They move all the chess pieces. Yahweh Shemashah is controlling them on the left-hand side. This is their world that's falling. And they're going to lose it very quickly, very soon. Okay? So you got their own coming against their own. You got people like Trump, which is basically an actor. Biden, an actor. All of them are actors, man. Trump ain't going to do shit. Okay, you got Esau praying to Trump, help me, help us, Trump, help us, Trump. Then you got a lot of these Edomites that are against Trump, saying that he's an actor and all that kind of thing. Matthew 12:26. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Of course, like you got 4 legs on a table, right? And each leg represents an Edomite or a heathen or whatever, right? Let's just say all Edomites at the moment because this is their world, right? And if one Edomite is saying, okay, I want to leave, obviously that table ain't going to stand. That table's going to fall, right? Exactly. So this is the way Satan, Esau, coming against his own kind. So therefore, his kingdom's falling, man, like a domino effect. All right? And a lot of people have invested in this world, right? This is their world, okay? So the Lord Yahweh Shemashai made this world for many, okay? Or you sell out 2/3 Jakes, okay? That are booty bandits, that are sold out and did disgusting things, man, with the same sex just for money, okay? All right? Like people like Mike Epps, Eddie Griffin, whatever. I believe they've done it. I don't care whether they're famous on a large scale or a small scale. You have to do things like that to have any kind of money, any kind of clout. You got Mike Epps now on this Netflix show as well called I don't know what the show is called. I don't even watch these new age shows. Okay, on Netflix. Now, what do you think he's done to get that show? What do you think he's done? You got Jay-Z's, the Oprah's, the George Lopez's. George Lopez is not even heard of these days. Oh yeah, he was in that last movie with that with the Blue Beetle, I believe it's called. Yeah, he was in that movie. But they canceled his show years ago. So a lot of you that are invested in this world can't even see Esau disappearing or going into slavery. Right? This is your world, man. So you're going to try and fight for everything you can. And Esau is going to fight. The so-called white man's definitely going to fight because after this, they're going into slavery. And you heathens too, man. Okay? You got Elam trying to be up Esau's ass. The other nations too. You got Moab, these chinks, these Chinese people trying to take over the world with their shitty products and their shitty cars, their genetically modified foods, their stank asses coming all over the world, seeing these weirdo inbred people walking around. Can't even walk right. These fucking weirdos, man. Second Ezra 8:1. And he answered me, saying, The Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, hath made this world for many, that's you 2/3, and you heathens, but the world to come for a few. But the world to come for few. And that's the elect and 1/3. Okay? Because to have the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai and pray in it, no matter what your lot is, whether you're in the front line like our apostles and elders and prophets and bishops, apostles, bishops, and prophets, or if you're just someone who's learning and trying to get to a certain level, but ultimately Yahweh Hashem Yahshai will control that, right? Having the name, right, and going through what you're going through is a blessing, okay? Because the world to come is for a few. No matter what your position is, man, you should count yourself blessed that you do have the name to pray in, especially if you're an Israelite foreigner and you grew up believing certain things, and now the Lord has washed you of that spiritually, and you calling on the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai. So the world to come is for a few, man. All right, but the rest of you motherfuckers can die on this side, man. And I'm tired of you devils, man. I'm tired of you, man. All right, tired of you. I'm gonna leave it there before I start ranting and raving, going crazy. I pray Yahweh Hashem Yahshai willing. Whoever listens to this, hope you're edified and can somewhat look into things yourself also. But watch the apostles of Great Millstone and our bishops, and the men of Great Millstone in general, okay, and affiliate camps. Listen and learn, and absorb this truth while it's here before the famine of the word comes, which is around the corner, man. And Yahweh Hashem Yahshai Ratazah, time speeds up faster. Because Barak Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, man, it's the 1st of October on Saturday, and that is superb. That is effing superb, man. 11 to 12 weeks more, and we're in 2024, man. Superb. Barak Yahweh Hashem Yahshai. Anyway, shalom to the 144,000, wherever you men are on the planet Earth. And shalom to the 1/3, man, whoever you are on the planet Earth, you men, women, and children. Blessings upon you and your households. And double honors to the apostles and bishops of Great Millstone, who are our spiritual teachers on this planet Earth, under the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahshai, Ba'Hashem Rakak Kodash, Abad Babal. Shalom.